Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. My name's Paige and today I wanted to do a full trip review and day-by-day breakdown for our recent trip to Iceland with EF Ultimate Break. So first of all, if you or someone you know is interested in taking a trip with EF Ultimate Break, it's a group travel company for anyone ages 18 to 35. They take care of all of the logistics. You just need to book your first trip using the link below in the description. It'll activate discount code UAPAGE100 at checkout for $100 off of your first trip. Alright, so first of all, I wanted to go over a couple of things that are just like general questions or general things that I feel like you should know about this trip. So first of all, I usually take out foreign currency before we go on any of our trips. It's just easier. A lot of the time places prefer cash, but I didn't for Iceland because it seemed like a place that was much more card friendly, didn't necessarily utilize cash very much, kind of similar to the US, and I honestly had no issues. Never once was I in a situation that I was like, oh shoot, I really wish we had cash on us. So I don't think that you need to take cash out at all. And then speaking of cash, a little bit further on that, for budget. So this trip is fairly short. It's only 6 days and the first day is just flying there. Depending on your flight home, our flight home on the 6th day wasn't until almost 5 p.m. So it felt like we had basically another full day to do things. But all in all, we spent in those 6 days about $650, I think, USD, and 100 of that went towards an excursion to the Sky Lagoon. So all in all, without going to the Sky Lagoon, we spent I spent about $550. But I will say Iceland is a very expensive country. So thankfully, because it was a short trip and EF included a lot of meals in the trip, that's how we were able to keep prices low. We didn't get a lot of alcohol, we didn't do a ton of souvenir shopping, and we tended to not do a ton of big sit-down meals. So we got our, as always, daily breakfast included, the welcome and farewell dinner were included, and an additional lunch was included during one of our days. So that didn't leave a ton of meals that we had to buy. So that really helped out with pricing. Something, if you are thinking about doing Iceland, but you're like, I just don't know if I'm really comfortable going with EF, or I'm not in that age range, or you're trying to go with family or whatever, I think what's really nice to see is because a lot of Iceland trips are generally you drive around the Golden Circle, you drive the whole country. And I would be a little nervous driving in a foreign country, but Iceland drives on the same side of the road as the United States. So obviously, if you're from another country going to Iceland, that might be different, but for someone who lives in the States and learned to drive in the States, it was really nice to see. I feel like Iceland would be super, super manageable and doable to drive on your own. Another thing that's really important that I did not realize, and I messed up. So when I Googled airport in Iceland to see how far away our hotel was from the airport, I was like, oh my god, it's only 15 minutes. Amazing. Nope, I was wrong. There's 2 airports in Iceland. I was super biased and I was like, it's a small country, it's probably only one airport. I Google an airport in Iceland and that's what comes up. Nope, the one that's 15 minutes from downtown Reykjavik is only for domestic flights. The international airport for Iceland is about 45 minutes to an hour drive outside of Reykjavik. So do not make the same mistake I did and plan for things or travel time or whatever. Make sure you're looking at the right airport. Another thing that's important to know, Iceland is considered an extremely safe and clean country. I 100% felt that was accurate description, but in case you do need anything, their emergency number is 112, just good to have in the back of your mind or saved in your phone in case you do need anything. Okay, so let's get into the actual trip, the day-by-day breakdown. I'm gonna be super honest with all of my thoughts and try and give you a pretty good timeline, as well as I'll put up the screenshots that our tour director sent us for, rough estimate on what each day's schedule looked like. Okay, so the first day we flew out of North Carolina. We had a direct flight into Reykjavik. It was an overnight flight. It was only 6 hours and it was on Iceland Air. Didn't think anything of it, me being me, for once, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna look into everything. I'm sure it's fine. I should have, because then I would have known Iceland Air, you have to pay for headphones for their in-flight entertainment. So either bring a pair that you can plug in or don't plan to use one, or you can buy them. I believe they were like $4-ish. Also, they do not give you food. They do give you like drinks for free, but you have to pay for food. You can pre-order meals or snacks or whatever, but it is not included like most other international overnight flights. So just be aware of that. Okay, but Iceland Air overall was very clean, no issues besides like not knowing that there wasn't gonna be food or headphones. But other than that, no complaints. So anyway, we had our flight out of North Carolina at 8:30 p.m. We arrived in Reykjavik around 6:30 a.m. the next day. So then we're on to day 2. So we get there, we have to obviously go through customs. We didn't check bags because we are a team carry-on always, but we went through customs, and then we had gotten sent by our tour director, Ludwig, what we should be looking for. So some people booked their own flights or came in at a later flight, or they were in like a morning flight. So Jesse and I and one other person were like the first to arrive. We were gonna be waiting for an EF representative. They had like a little EF thing on their phone, and they sent a picture of like where we should meet them. So that was no issues. We waited till the other person in our group joined us, and then he transported us to Reykjavik, to our hotel. Now, I will be completely honest, we were super tired and all 3 of us fell asleep in the van on the way to the hotel. Probably not the smartest thing to do, because shouldn't really be falling asleep in a stranger's van, but you know what, we trusted EF and everything was fine, but would not recommend. Anyway, so we got to the hotel, and after waiting and driving and all of that, we got to the hotel maybe around, I want to say like 8:30-ish, and we were able to drop all of our stuff in the locked luggage room. So we did that, we changed, we freshened up, and we were able to go ahead and do the hotel breakfast, because EF made sure that even though we didn't check in until later that day, we were able to get breakfast that morning. So we went downstairs, we got breakfast, and then we honestly just hung out in the hotel lobby for like 20 minutes, because then all of our other friends started to arrive. So I would say by like 9:30, people were arriving. We were seeing everyone, catching up, and then we had a walking tour at 11 a.m. So we all met in the, or was it was either 11 or 11:30. I think it was 11:30. So we had a walking tour. We walked around downtown Reykjavik. We kind of got an introduction. We got to kind of get our bearings, and Ludwig showed us our, big hot spots, how to kind of navigate, all of that stuff. So that was until about 1 o'clock, so 11:30 to 1 o'clock, and then we had free time until 3. 3 o'clock is when we could check into the hotel, because unfortunately none of our rooms were ready early. So we walked around, we did some shopping, so the convenience store there is not called 7-Eleven, and I only say that because I know that's like a well-known convenience store in the States. It's called 10-Eleven, and there's a bunch of them. So we went to 10-Eleven, we got some snacks and all of that, and then we did buy alcohol. So a group of us went to a local liquor store. There is a bunch, but a lot of them didn't open until like 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So we did find one that was open earlier. We went and got alcohol. Obviously that was our decision. You don't have to do that, but we wanted to be able to like have some drinks, but we knew it was going to be really expensive. So we went ahead and bought some stuff at the local liquor store. So we did that. By the time we got back to the hotel, it was like 3:15. We were ready to check in. We checked in, we showered, all of that, and then we met in the lobby at, I want to say 5:30-ish, to go to our welcome dinner. The welcome dinner was in walking distance. We had one included drink, then we got like some bread and butter and stuff, and then we had our appetizer was like a seafood chowder, so good, and then we had like grilled fish and vegetables for the main course. There was a vegetable option, or vegetable, there was like a vegetarian vegan option if you wanted that. But the food was so good, we really enjoyed it. And then we decided to head back to the hotel because everyone was fried, so tired. Head back to the hotel. Jesse and I have a tradition that at the beginning of every EF trip, we like to get a drink. We like to have a drink like in the hotel lobby or bar or whatever. Obviously we had bought alcohol, so we all went down to like their game room area, so we weren't like super loud disturbing anyone. And we hung out and we got to catch up with all of our friends, get to know the people who decided to join us that we didn't know already, and we just had a blast. We stayed up way too late again, but it was really fun. I highly recommend doing that, getting to know the people on your trip. It just kind of helps break the ice. We stayed at Hotel Kluter. I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly. You're just gonna make fun of me the entire time I'm pronouncing things that are in Iceland. I'm sorry, it's not disrespectful. I just have a hard time pronouncing words I already know anyway. So please, please, please don't take it personally. So this was the hotel that we stayed at, very clean. It was like, I wanna say like 5 to 10 minutes outside of like the heart of Reykjavik, but it was quiet, clean, like no issues. It was a straight shot to get into the city center, and I honestly would stay there again. And the hotel breakfast was actually really good. I'm usually not a big like continental breakfast fan, but it was pretty good, not gonna lie. The hotel also has a hotel bar, but they close at 11. So if you are up later and you want to get a drink, they have like these huge big fridges in the lobby, and you can buy something from there and check out at the front desk 24 hours a day. So no problem on that. They also have snacks and non-alcoholic drinks. Okay, so on to day 3. So this was like our first full day. This is when we went to the south coast of Iceland. We did a day trip there. So we woke up and had our breakfast. We had to be at the bus at 8:30. So we all loaded onto the bus. It was super nice. There was only 16 of us on the trip. There was, I want to say, 3 or 4 couples, 1 set of cousins, and 5 solo people, 4 solo people. We only had 16 people. I know the math probably isn't working on that, but I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so we all got onto the bus. It was still like a really nice big coach bus, very clean. They had charging ports available, so that was super easy, and they weren't USB, they were USB-C, so that made it a lot easier because I feel like none of us have chargers that have USBs on the end anymore. Anyway, so we did that. We drove, I want to say about an hour to an hour and a half, and we got to this first stop. So we went to this national park. It was beautiful. We had about 2 hours to walk around. We also saw our first waterfall. It was beautiful. It was mostly from where we started, like that first parking lot, it was mostly flat and downhill. It did rain a little bit, but that's why I really encourage everyone to wear water-resistant shoes that have really good grip. I will link the ones that I wear that I've had for years and years. They don't require a lot of breaking in, and they're not super expensive. So that's what I would recommend wearing. But we had about 2 hours to explore there. It was beautiful. There was clean and free bathrooms, and water is readily available and clean and able to be drank from anywhere in Iceland. So you could fill up your water in like every place that you saw. There was a lot of water stations, so definitely bring a water bottle. And we did that. We saw our first beautiful waterfall of the trip. It was really, really nice, and it was just like a nice way. I felt like it was a good introduction to Iceland. So we did that. We hopped back on the bus, and then we actually went straight to lunch. So this lunch spot, I did not know that this is where we were going. I guess I didn't like read the itinerary, but I was dying to see this restaurant, so I was super excited. So we went to this restaurant. It's like they grow all their own food. It's literally in the middle of a ginormous greenhouse, and we got like a demonstration. All the soup and bread, it's tomato soup and homemade bread, is bottomless. We had about an hour there. We really enjoyed it. You could do a little shopping because they also make their own like tomato salt and jelly and jam and ice cream and all that. They also had a bar. No one did that, but we did get included in our meal. We had our soup, our bread, and one drink. So we did that, and then there was horses on the property, so had to say hi to them. After that, we drove to our next stop, and our next stop was another beautiful waterfall. So this waterfall is this one. Not gonna try and pronounce it. They had a fairly big store there that you could buy things from. I think there was a restaurant, but we didn't use it. And there was also a free bathrooms and places to fill your water bottle. So we had about an hour there. You could walk up to the top and look at the waterfall from above, or you could go down like this metal staircase and get really up close and personal to it. So that's what we decided to do. You do get a little bit wet, but like I wouldn't say you were soaked or anything. You could wear your rain pants or not. I don't think it's too bad. But just, again, be careful, be safe, stay on the trail, and wear shoes with good grip. So we did that. It was stunning, and that was like the first waterfall that was like larger than life. It was just beautiful. So we did that, and then we had about an hour there, and then we went to our last stop of the day, which was geysers. So we went to the geysers, and it was, first of all, you can definitely smell the sulfur. I don't feel like it was that bad, but anyway, we had about 45 minutes there to like relax, walk around. Honestly, Jesse and I found a bench that was like in front of the big geyser that goes off every 5 to 10 minutes, and just sat there and enjoyed our time there. We stayed off our feet and just kind of relaxed, took it all in. Some people wandered around the trails a bit more, and then we headed, that was about, I want to say at like 3 o'clock. And then we went back to our bus, and then we were back at the hotel by 4 o'clock. We had a free evening. Now, you have free time, so you can do whatever you want. I had about 2 weeks beforehand been like, I really want to go to the Sky Lagoon during our free time. The Blue Lagoon is included in our trip, but I really want to go see the Sky Lagoon. I'd heard really good things. I had seen really cool pictures. And so I put in our group chat, like WhatsApp, about a week to 2 weeks before our trip, like, hey, planning on going here, anyone else want to go? Everyone ended up wanting to go except for 2 people, and that's because they had come in a day early and they'd already gone. And they were like, it's amazing. So we went to the Sky Lagoon. Even our tour director, Ludwig, joined us. He said it was his favorite place, so he wasn't gonna miss it. And we went there around 7 o'clock. So between like 4:30 and 7, we had time to grab some food. We went to the 10-11 again. We changed and just, got off our feet. And the drive to Sky Lagoon, which Ludwig ended up calling us taxis for, so we split into 2 groups, was only like a 10-minute ride. Really wasn't bad. I want to say when we split it up between like 8 people or 7 people per car, it was only, I want to say like $5 or $10 a person. Like, it really wasn't bad. I want to say $5-ish between there. Anyway, so because everyone wanted to go, Ludwig ended up booking us as a group, so we got a little bit of a discount, and it was really nice because we all knew that we were all gonna be at the same time, like admitted. So we went there, boys and girls split up. There is 2 types of tickets. The only change in ticket prices is if you get a private changing area, but like we went to the one that's cheaper, and it really was not an issue at all. Like, no one cares, you're going fast, like it's fine. You also get 2 wristbands, so you get a black and a gray one. The black one is for a 7-step ritual that I'll talk you through it a little bit, but that's just so you don't go through those steps multiple times. The gray one was the one that locked your locker so that you could access that. You could also use it to buy drinks at the swim up bar. So that's what we ended up doing. You have to shower beforehand, but the showers are like enclosed, so don't worry about that. So you shower beforehand. Don't bring a towel because they have a gazillion towels for you. So you shower, and then you walk out into this like beautiful like we walked out and we were like, wow, this is stunning. And then we realized we could walk farther out, and then we saw like the full view. 10 out of 10 recommend. Absolutely loved it. So we got a drink at the bar. The drinks are expensive, but that's Iceland. I didn't feel like they were more expensive than like if we had gone out to the bars and gotten a drink, but they are expensive. So just be aware. Like I got a wine, I think, and it was like $13, and I also got a cocktail and it was $23, $25, but YOLO, I did it and I don't regret it. It was delicious, but just be aware that is what you're looking at. So anyway, you're gonna do that, and then you can start the ritual at any time. So it's 7 steps, and if you don't wanna be spoiled, just skip ahead. But you first do a cold plunge in a pool, and then you're gonna go into the sauna. Now the sauna is 2 different options, one with phones and one that does not allow phones. Both of them are quiet, so you are, frowned upon. You are going to get shushed if you start talking, so just be aware of that, be respectful. We went to the ones that you could take pictures in because obviously, so we did that. Then we went to the next step, which I want to say we went into and got like a scrub that we scrubbed our entire bodies. I've never had my skin so smooth, so smooth. So we scrubbed our whole bodies, then we went into like a steam room where essentially the scrub like dissolved into our skin. And then after that, we took a shot of some juice thing that they have. It wasn't alcoholic, but it was good. And then we went to our final spot that was like a shower, like rinsed your body off of everything. And then I want to say there was like one more steam room, something like that. Anyway, the only part you have to be silent about is during the saunas, like the first sauna, so just be aware of that. And then you can enjoy the rest of your time. We literally stayed there till closing. There's a beautiful infinity pool and waterfall. Like I highly recommend going. It's worth every penny. We paid almost $100 for our ticket, like each person, but it was 100% worth it. Literally every single person was like, I would do this again. It's worth the money. So I would highly recommend doing that during your free time in Iceland. So we did that, we headed home, and it was like 10:30 at night, and it was still bright out because the sun basically doesn't set in Iceland during the summer, but we all went to bed because we had an even earlier morning the next day. All right, on our day 4 trip, this was our like longer day. We had to wake up, get breakfast, and be on the bus by 8 a.m. because we were going to the south coast of Iceland. So this was my favorite day. I was super excited about it. So let's break down what happened throughout the whole day. Okay, so first thing first, we went to this waterfall. This was a longer drive. It was about a 2-hour drive from our hotel to this first waterfall of the day. Gorgeous, stunning. You can walk all the way up and look at it from above, or we walked kind of like up to it as far as you could go. I think when the water's a little bit less, you can walk closer to it, but we walked to where the water started, essentially. It was beautiful, free bathrooms in that area, and it was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I think we had about an hour there. I could have spent more time there. And then we got back on the bus, and I would say that waterfall, you do get a tiny bit wet if you get close, but other than that, like, I wouldn't worry about like getting wet or wearing waterproof pants or anything at that point. And then after that, we went to the Black Sand Beach, which is a Game of Thrones shooting location. You also see this gorgeous like mountain sculpture thing of like, it kind of reminds me of Giant's Causeway, but taller, obviously, where you'll see a lot of these sorts of pictures. Super fun, loved it. We only got like 30 minutes there, which I really felt like we needed more time. I would have given us about an hour, but it's quick. There is free restrooms there and like a little cafe area that you can get food at. I got like a cute little like lemon cake slice or whatever just because I wanted something, and it was like $8. Not worth it, but it was good. So then we drove only like 10 minutes to our next stop, which we went into the town of Vik. and we stopped at essentially a gas station slash like big like outdoor store or whatever, and we got food there. I got the fish and chips and I shared it with Jessie because it was a really big helping and it was really good. I will say everyone really liked their food except for one person got a burger and found a hair in it, and then when they sent that back, they got a burger and the bun had mold on it. But the third one, totally fine, and no one else had issues with food. So just check your food, be careful. So we did that. We had like, I want to say like an hour to an hour and a half to like eat. If we wanted to shop, use the bathroom, like we had plenty of time. And then behind this gas station is a ton of lupins. Don't mind the hair change. My battery to my camera died and then I had to charge it and restart and I got hot. So just, yeah. What are lupins? When you get to Iceland, or if you've seen pictures of Iceland, there is like super pretty purple flowers that are literally everywhere in Iceland, everywhere. And they're supposed to not bloom until like June, July. But what I'm assuming is because of global warming, a ton of them were in bloom. So I was really happy that I got to see them because I didn't think I was going to be able to. If you go to the same gas station, go behind it and there's, I think it's a path to like a beach because it's like right on the water. But like it's over like a little hill, but like the hill dune area is all lupins. It's so pretty. These are some of the pictures we took and we only had like 10 minutes. I wish I would have just like eaten really quickly and then gone back out there. And anyway, so after lunch we headed to this glacier. You can hike into like the ice caves and whatever. It looks super cool. Obviously we didn't do that. We didn't have the time. You have to book that tour ahead and you have to have like a whole training and wear like very particular shoes and like it's a whole thing. So anyway, we had about an hour there. I'd say it was about like 15 to 20 minute walk to like the base of the glacier and then hung out for 10-15 minutes, took some pictures and then walked back. They did have bathrooms there. I believe you had to pay for those, but anyway, it was super pretty. It was pretty rocky, so once again, I know I keep saying this, but like make sure that your shoes have good grip on them because like it would be very easy to fall. Like, not like you're gonna die fall, but just like you're gonna lose your grip and slip, if that makes sense. Don't worry, your life is not in danger. It's not a scary thing. I'm just saying for comfort and ease, I would have shoes with good grip. Anyway, moving right along, after the glacier, we went to the last waterfall that we were gonna see, and y'all, when I say I could have spent 24 hours there, I really could have. It was the most breathtaking thing I think I've ever seen. We only had like 45 minutes there, and I really, really want to encourage EF to have it be a longer stop because like we got back at like 6 o'clock, but I easily would have come back at like 7 just to have an extra hour at this waterfall. It was stunning. So you can walk up to it, you can look at it from afar, but most people get close to it. You can actually walk behind the waterfall. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty, and we got so lucky because the sun had come out at that point and we got to see a rainbow. It was just, I can't describe it. All I can say is I could have just sat there for hours and hours and hours. And then apparently I didn't do this, we didn't have enough time, but I've heard that you can, to I think the left of this waterfall, there's like another like smaller waterfall that looks really unassuming, but you can go inside. It's like the secret waterfall of Iceland, and you can go like inside of it, and you've probably seen a picture like this. This is just like Google image, and it looks super cool. So when we go back, and I'm saying when because we're gonna make it happen one day, right? One day. I wanna go see this. Anyway, it was absolutely stunning. I think that was my favorite thing that we saw this trip for sure. So we did that, and like I said, we only had like 45 minutes there, and then we drove back. It was about a 2-hour drive back to the hotel. We got back at like 6:30, and at that point we were all really tired. We decided to shower and change just to like freshen up, because like Jessie was really sweaty, my hair was a mess, and yeah, so we did that. And then we ended up going to this food hall, and it's like, I think it has like 5 or 6 food stalls. The food was so good. The people we went to the food hall with, we all got kind of like different things from different places, different vendors, and everything was so good. I wish we had been able to go back, had found time to go back, but it was delicious. Cannot recommend. It's a seat yourself, because it is like a food hall. It is like a food court, but like upscale, or I don't know. Anyway, it was really, really good food. Highly recommend. It does get pretty loud just because of it being like a lot of people and things and restaurants packed into a spot, but I didn't feel like claustrophobic at all. But just like be aware, if you want like a quiet like talk dinner vibes, that's not it. So anyway, we had food there, and then we had to get some ice cream. We got ice cream. We walked by this gelato place, so we were like, might as well try it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it was like the best gelato I've ever had, but like I thought it was really good. It hit the spot. I wanted something sweet just to like fill in the cracks. One of the bars that Ludwig had recommended was a library bar, so we didn't think anything of it. We were like, I'm a huge book person. Like a couple of the people we were with are huge readers, so we were like, let's just pop in. Y'all, if you only go to one bar, you should go to this bar. Like, it was so fun. So yes, it is like a bookstore. You can like look at the books, you can read them, all of that, but they also have live music every single day, and it was so fun. Like, they have like a house band, and they're, first of all, good singers. It was good vibes, and they played like all singing along to songs, and it was just awesome. There was like people of all different types and ages and everything, like dancing, having a great time. There's a bar downstairs and upstairs. I will say by like 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was pretty hard to like get in. Like you could get in, but like it was tight. Like hold on to like the people you're with tight and like try and make your way through the crowd. We went to the second floor because there was seating up there, and it was a little bit quieter, but it was so fun. We were there for a few hours, like just vibing with some friends. Like we had a really good time. So we did that. We came back and we had a couple more drinks down at the like lounge area of the hotel with the alcohol we had bought on the first day, and yeah, just kind of hung out, like went over all of our favorite parts of the day and everything, and it was just fun. And then it was time to go to bed. On to day 5. So day 5, we actually had a whole free morning. So that was the day. The only like planned activity was the Blue Lagoon. So that we left for at 1:30. It's about an hour away because it's right by the international airport. So that whole morning we slept in a little bit, and then we decided to get breakfast at Sandholt, which is like a super old family-owned bakery. It was delicious. You can either like get food to go or you can sit down. We opted to sit down because we had the time, and we only waited like 15 minutes until we got to sit. It was really good food, and then we decided to do some shopping and just like finish up a few things. We were with some friends, so they wanted to get some stuff for their family, and then we decided to go to the church. This church, if you've seen pictures of Reykjavik, I'm sure you've seen pictures of this church. It's super, super pretty. And it was a Sunday, so they had mass, but then they opened up the church tower at 12:15. So we actually got there right as they opened, so we got super lucky, and we paid to go up to the bell tower. So you've probably seen pictures of from the top of this tower, you just didn't know where they were. And it's about like, I want to say like 11 USD per ticket, and no one really checks it. So I don't know, but we didn't try to like sneak by or anything. It's fine, it was $11. And you take an elevator up 8 floors, and then you get to the like area where there's like different like boards and stuff with like the history of everything, and then you walk up like 4 short flights of steps, or short stair, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, so you do that, and then you get to this big open area where you can see 360 Reykjavik. It is so worth it. Honestly, like, I am like a sucker for a good rooftop like view, so this was like a no-brainer for me to want to go, and I highly recommend it. I think it's worth it. Like I said, we went right when it opened, and it was nice because it was not super crowded. I think if you went like midday or at like really busy times, it'd be kind of annoying because you'd have to wait, because the elevator only allows 6 people in at a time. So it can take a bit to get up and get down. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait because of the time we went, but just keep that in mind. We did that, and then we walked on back to the hotel to get ready for the Blue Lagoon. We left at like 1:20, 1:30. It took us about an hour, and your ticket is included with EF Ultimate Break. So we went there, and I had a different viewpoint going into it, because everything I had like read and heard was that like the Blue Lagoon, like obviously you want to go because it's a popular thing and it's like a once in a lifetime, gotta do it, but the Sky Lagoon is better. So I kind of went in with pretty low expectations. It was super cool. It's very much Instagram versus reality, because when you pull up, it literally looks like a power plant. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, because it's like a bunch of buildings that have like smoke coming out of them, like old metal buildings. The Blue Lagoon has a hotel attached to it, as well as a big restaurant. So you don't really get the like natural vibes that you would at the Sky Lagoon. So it's super cool. You go out. If you're worried about getting your swimsuit like ruined, I didn't have any issues, nor did anyone in our group, and I haven't heard of anyone doing that. But to be careful, what I did and what I've read is helpful is lather your bathing suit in conditioner, because you have to shower before you go in anyway. So wear your swimsuit and lather it in conditioner. I did that. I haven't had any issues, fingers crossed. But just like with the Sky Lagoon, you do get a gray wristband, and that's going to be your key to open and close your locker. It is a pretty overwhelming thing. It seems a lot bigger than the Sky Lagoon. So just know that going in. So you shower, and then you go out. You do get 1 drink included in your ticket. It doesn't, like, there's no price thing for the drink. It's just 1 drink. And it can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, so you do that. You also, in your ticket, get included like a mud mask, where you go to like, there's one like hut, like swim up place that's the bar, and then another one on the other side of the lagoon that's for your mud mask. Get that. You should let it sit on your face for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then wash it off with fresh water. There's like a water spout like across from the little hut that you get your mask from. Make sure the mask does not get in your eyes or nose or mouth or anything, because it really, really hurts. So just be careful, rinse it off. There is also like a steam room and a sauna attached to it if you want to go in. Yeah, we had, I would say, about 2.5 hours there. It was nice, it was fun to hang out with everyone, but it definitely felt very much like this is for tourists. It's cool. I definitely recommend everyone do it. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but yeah, I don't know. And there are different like upgrades you can make to the tickets, but like obviously the tickets that we got with EF were like the base. I don't think you can upgrade or anything, but like you can buy more drinks or more masks or whatever using your gray wristband if you choose to do that. And then same thing as the Sky Lagoon, you'll get out, you go out, and as you're like checking out, you have to scan your wristband and you pay whatever you've charged to your wristband, and you can head out. You can also buy all of their like skincare, facial products or whatever at like a little gift shop they have that you have to pass through to exit. So we did that. We got back to our hotel. around, let's see, we got to the Blue Lagoon around 2:30. We left around 4:35, and then we got back to the hotel around 6. And it was super quick. Like, this is not a farewell dinner that you're gonna like dress up for or anything. We went in, we literally like dropped our stuff, went to the bathroom and like put on a heavier coat and left to go to the farewell dinner. Farewell dinner was at this place. It was really, really good. The one thing that I didn't like is there once again was like a regular option and like a vegetarian vegan option. I don't eat red meat. I'll eat seafood and I'll eat chicken, but I do not eat like beef, pork, lamb, any of that. So the farewell dinner, the option, it was like cod was your appetizer, but then the main course was beef and lamb, and the place, Ludwig had asked like 2 weeks beforehand if I could mix that, and they said no, so I had to do the vegetarian option. Honestly, it was really good still. Like, also, by the way, you know how you get like a basket of bread? This place did baskets of pretzels, like hot pretzels. Very good, 10 out of 10 recommend. And we got 2 drinks included, so 2 glasses of wine for me. Then I had, there was a salad, but Jesse ended up eating the salad and I ate his fish for appetizers, so we swapped that. And then for the main dish, Jesse obviously had like the lamb beef option. I got for the vegetarian, it was like grilled roasted veggies or something with like hummus. I don't know, but it was so good. Nothing I ever would have picked out or eaten for myself, but it was really good. And the dessert, honestly, I thought the vegetarian dessert was better than the regular dessert. It was really good. So we did that, and then we had the rest of the evening free, but it was raining and everyone was tired. So what we decided to do is end where we began everything and finish up the drinks we had bought the first day and drink at the hotel. We stayed up fairly late and most of our group hung out that night. It was a really nice way to kind of end our trip. And then we get to day 6. So we actually didn't fly out. EF booked our flights and we didn't leave until 4:45 p.m. So we had pretty much the whole morning free. We had to be at the hotel by 1 p.m. We left around like 9:15, and we went to this bakery called Broad & Co. Get one of everything. We tried 2 different types of rolls. Like, we did a cinnamon roll, and then it was like caramel and pecan. Jesse did some sort of raspberry scone something, and then I also got a hot pretzel. So good. 10 out of 10 recommend. And then we decided to walk up Rainbow Road and go to the church a bit, just to see it less crowded in the morning. And I think it was worth it because like when we saw it that first time during the walking tour, it was so packed that going at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, it was way less crowded. So I would recommend doing it. I thought it was worth it. We were there pretty short, like 10-15 minutes to get some nice pictures. And then after that, we decided Jesse was actually planning to get a tattoo. So we decided to pop over to this tattoo place that him and a couple of our friends were gonna get tattoos at. He wasn't a huge fan because he wanted something simple and small that he had found, and the guy upcharged it like crazy. And just for a good comparison, the other 2 people who went got charged the minimum, which was $141, I think, or $140. No problem, but Jesse's was like the same size, and because it wasn't like one of his like flash tattoos, he doubled the price. It was gonna be about $300. So he actually ended up getting that tattoo after we got back from the trip, and it was like $120. So just, yeah, be aware. But it was nice. We said goodbye to our friends that weren't on the transport to the airport with us because they had booked their own flights and they were staying an extra day for their engagement pictures. And so after all of that, we went and got lunch at this place, and they're known for their soup and bread bowls. And that's, I'm pretty sure, is the only thing on their menu, because when we walked in, they literally had, like, the waiter came up to us and was like, okay, we have this soup and this soup. So I'm assuming that's the only thing they have on their menu. But it was really good. It was worth it. I thought it was delicious. And I got the vegetarian option, which was like, I think it was like broccoli, cauliflower, onion, carrot, cream. It was like cream based. And so was the other one, but Jesse got, it was like beef based. Either way, both were delicious. And then we couldn't stop eating, so we got a whole, we each got a small ice cream from this place to share, because I've heard this was like the place in Iceland to get ice cream from, and it was just really good. I really enjoyed it. So after we were literally stuffed to the brim and my pants were on way too tight, we went back and we finished packing, and we decided to wait for our airport transfer. So we did all of that, and then we went to the airport, and like I said, our transfer was at 1 o'clock, and we got to the airport by 2. Our flight was at 4:45, and yeah, no complaints, got home, no issues. I'm really glad that EF booked direct flights for us. We didn't request that, that's just how it ended up working out. But yeah, we really loved it. We went over Memorial Weekend, so it was honestly really nice. You only had to take 2 days of PTO on that Thursday, Friday, because we flew out Wednesday at 8:30 at night. So if you're looking for a trip, or you would really like to have your first trip to Europe, but you don't have a lot of PTO or time, or whatever the reason, I think this is a really good first trip to take. There isn't really a language barrier. It's just, yeah, I think it's a really nice trip to take. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we went in the group, honestly, because it was so much fun. But I would definitely feel comfortable coming back and going by ourselves as well. I hope it was helpful to break down all of this, day by day. And, I gave my honest opinions. Please feel free to comment any questions. Go and check out my TikTok and my Instagram to get a little bit more in depth. I have a bunch of highlights saved to my Instagram highlights for this trip. And yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope that this inspires you guys to travel and gives you some insight on the trip that maybe you're looking at taking. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and thanks guys. Happy traveling.